What's up? My name is Max and welcome to the video. Alright, so I wanted to make this video today to talk about something that has been a huge part of my life for a long time and will continue to be a huge part of my life until the day I die, and that is Harry Potter. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know that HBO Max, yes, they changed their name again, is doing a Harry Potter series where I believe each season is going to be a book, and they want to make this series to creatively go and explore more of what we didn't get to see in the films. Now, the internet has had very strong opinions about everything involving the show, and I wanted to make a video to put out there in the world and kind of talk about some of the thoughts I've had, some of the pros, some of the cons, some of the casting, and yeah, let's get into it. So the big concern of people when they announced the show was we had the movies not too long ago, and I agree with that, but at the same time, in the entertainment world, it's been a while. Like, the last film, Deathly Hallows Part 2, came out, I believe, in 2011, which at this point is 14 years ago, and by the time the show comes out will be either 15 or 16, and that's quite a while. Like, I know for people like me who watch the movies all the time, it seems like just yesterday we were going to the showings, first day, midnight showings of these films, but it's been a while. Like, in the world of entertainment, we've cycled through 3 Spider-Men, like, 5 Batman actors. Like, things can move pretty fast in the world of entertainment when it comes to reboots. So honestly, this doesn't surprise me too much, but it's still kind of weird. And I think it's weird because the books and the movies covered such a long period of time, not only in the entertainment world, but just in the world of growing up for so many of us. And it feels kind of like passing the torch to a new generation to grow up with Harry Potter. At least that's how I kind of see it. Though I am still excited about the series. Now, as someone who loves the movies and watches them multiple times in a year, it might sound a little bit weird when I say I'm excited for this series. And it's like a cautiously optimistic excitement. There are some things we'll just have to wait and see with, which is where my caution comes from. But overall, I think it's a cool concept. If you were to tell fans of the books in 2020, I think that's when it was, 2020 or 2021, when The Sorcerer's Stone came out, that you were going to have either a set of movies or a series come out with Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, as well as the rest of the cast, and you said, okay, you can have some movies, which of course will be cut like a movie, or you can have a show where it's going to cover a lot more of the topics covered in the book that you love. I'm sure a lot of people would have chosen show unless they have a shorter attention span. And that's what really intrigues me about the series. We never got Spew, we never got Winky. They had different things happening in different films for different reasons. They cut a lot of things out of the films, and I just think it's a great opportunity, even though it's not the same actors, to see a lot of these things in live action. And that's what I am most excited about. I mean, come on. We all want to see the Death Day party for Nearly Headless Nick. But yeah, that's where a lot of my excitement comes from. Now, my caution, like I said, it's more of the, like, we'll just have to wait and see what happens kind of stuff. Now, a lot of my concern came from the original press release they put out when they announced this show. So when they first announced it, they said that they wanted to be as faithful to the books as they possibly could be. And that I thought was really cool for the reasons that I had mentioned. We're going to see a lot more scenes. We're going to, have all these different storylines that we hadn't before. But then they started doing some of the casting, and while I am open to seeing anybody in a role, the actor they cast as Snape kind of made them walk back what they said before. And that worries me a little bit in regards to the series in general. Now, a lot of people have come at this from the angle of race swapping the character, and while I do think with Snape in particular, that does play into it a little bit, I'm all for having, diverse casts. So I wanted to get that out of the way and say that is not the main issue that I'm seeing here. The issue is that Snape is one of those characters who is very distinctly described. And if you're saying you're going to make the series as accurate as you possibly can to the source material, it just doesn't go together. So that's what worries me a little bit, is if they're putting out a press release saying we're going to make it as accurate as it can be, and then they're casting people who do not fit very distinct physical characteristics of those characters. Are they going to do that with other things in the story now too? Because when they say they want to be as faithful as they can to the source material, that tells me if they're doing this throughout long seasons and it's an HBO production, they're going to be putting a lot of time and money into it, as we've seen with some of the set photos that have now come out. And I was under the impression it was going to be something that was very much like, okay, you had these fantastic, amazing movies, but they didn't cover everything. Now we're going to try and kind of make up for that in a different storytelling format. But now that they're already straying from the being as close to the source material as they can, it worries me a little bit in that regard. Now, I also wanted to talk about the casting of the trio. We have new Harry, Ron, and Hermione actors, and just based on this photo, I think they are all going to be great in the roles. Obviously, we have not seen them act, but just based on physical appearance, it really seems like they have that certain charm that Harry, Ron, and Hermione have, as well as the physical characteristics as well. So we have Dominic McLaughlin playing Harry Potter, Arabelle Staten as Hermione Granger, and Alistair Stout as Ron Weasley. Like I said, we obviously do not have any footage of them yet, but I think based on this photo, it looks like they have a certain chemistry just in this one photograph that I think is necessary for these characters, and I can't wait to see what they look like in their costumes. Forgetting his name already, crap. What will Dominic look like with the scar and glasses? What will they all look like with their Hogwarts uniforms on? And the other castings they put out as well. I'm not familiar really with any of these actors. I know some of them by name, but I'm just really curious to see how the interpretations are going to differ from the films to the TV show, and what characteristics they might take from the books to add to these characters as well. Like, will Harry have kind of longer, messier hair, or will they go the Daniel Radcliffe route and have it be a very neat, tidy haircut after the very early 2000s and 90s hair that was Goblet of Fire? Now, there are some other concerns that people on the internet have brought up. So the actress playing Hermione is, I believe, I've seen some people say mixed race in some capacity. I don't know what her ethnicity is or her background. And some people are bringing up the concern that the term mudblood will take on a new meaning. And to those people, I just want to say, if you look at it from the wrong perspective, it will. But mudblood is not talking about race. Like, that's something that I thought immediately. Mudblood is a term referring to people with, quote, dirty blood, who in the wizarding world are not pure bloods from magical lines of families. So Hermione is called a mudblood by Draco Malfoy, who uses that term to describe Hermione, who is a witch that has non-magical parents. She does not descend from a line of people in the wizarding world who are pure bloods themselves. And that's what this term means. So I don't think that's going to be an issue at all, or it shouldn't be an issue at least, because it is not a term that is used for race at all in Harry Potter. Completely separate issue. Has to do whether you come from a line of witches and wizards, or whether you come from a line of people who may not be witches and wizards. That's what mudblood refers to, so I don't think that should be an issue at all, and I don't know why people are necessarily focusing on that so much. But yeah, overall, I think this is going to be a really interesting thing to see. It does look like they're putting a lot of time and effort into this series, so I'm excited to see what they put together, especially since they know, like Warner Brothers knows how huge this property is for them. They've made so much money off of this property. They have movies, merch, theme parks. Like, I don't think they want to mess it up. And some people seem to be under the impression that they're trying to. No company wants to lose money. They know what worked before. If they do something similar to that, but in a longer format, and they pump out the same amount of merch and stuff and make people fall in love with this series like they did the movies, I think we're all gonna win. So that's all I have for today. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about the series, the casting, the set photo leaks we've seen, concerns, anything you're hyped for. Let me know down below and let's have a discussion on it. It is something that is a hot topic, so be respectful in the comment section if you talk amongst each other. Yeah, thanks so much for checking out this video, and I will see you in the next one.